You opened Ticketmaster the morning your favorite artist went on sale. The page loaded. Ticket prices started at $65. You were ready. Then you waited in the queue, 40,000 people ahead of you. An hour passed, too. By the time you got to the front, the cheap tickets were gone. The only seats left said Platinum. Each one was $342. You added two to your cart, told yourself it would be worth it, and clicked checkout. Your final total was $871. Two tickets, two service fees, one order processing fee, one delivery fee, and tax. You weren't unlucky. Ticketmaster already knew this would happen. They built the system to make sure of it, and they have the internal emails to prove it. This is how the most hated company in America designed a machine to take your money, and why a federal antitrust lawsuit didn't stop them. Let's start with the easy part, the fees. When you buy a ticket on Ticketmaster, the price you see is almost never the price you pay. There's a service fee. There's an order processing fee. There's a delivery fee which you're charged even when the ticket is just sent to your phone. There's a facility charge. And in most states, there's tax stacked on top of all of it. Independent studies analyzing Ticketmaster checkouts have found that fees average around 27 to 28% of the face value of the ticket. Two $100 tickets, which sound like a $200 night out, actually cost you about $256. On more aggressive concerts, it gets worse. There are documented Ticketmaster shopping carts showing fees that hit 66% of face value. That means a $50 ticket left the buyer paying over $80. Ticketmaster's defense is that most of those fees aren't theirs. They say the venues take most of the service fee, that it pays for staffing and security, and that Ticketmaster's actual cut is closer to 5 to 7% per ticket. That sounds reasonable, until you find out who owns the venues. In 2010, Ticketmaster merged with Live Nation, the largest concert promoter in the world. The federal government approved the merger on the condition that Live Nation wouldn't use its size to crush competition. They put it in writing. It was called a consent decree. 9 years later, in 2019, the Department of Justice came back and said Live Nation had violated that decree. They extended it. Today, according to the figures presented in court at the 2026 federal antitrust trial, Live Nation controls 86% of the ticketing contracts at major concert venues in the United States. They own or exclusively operate 78% of the largest amphitheaters in the country. So when Ticketmaster tells you the venue is taking most of the service fee, they're not lying. They're just not telling you that the venue is also Live Nation, the same parent company. The fee leaves your wallet, splits in half, and ends up in two pockets attached to the same pair of pants. You probably remember when this became impossible to ignore. November 2022, Taylor Swift's Eras Tour presale. 14 million people tried to buy tickets. Ticketmaster's system collapsed. Fans waited 8 hours in queues that timed out. The general public sale was canceled entirely. Senators dragged Ticketmaster executives in front of Congress. Swift herself put out a statement saying it was excruciating to watch what her fans went through. That moment is what kicked off the federal investigation that became the antitrust case. It also pushed the Eras Tour to become the highest-grossing tour in history, over $1 billion in ticket sales. Both things happened. And both things happened on the same platform, run by the same company, charging the same fees on every transaction. That's the visible part. Now we get to the part they didn't want you to see. In early 2026, the United States Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations released a report titled, "So Casually Cruel: How Ticketmaster's Monopoly Supercharges Prices and Fees." The report cites Ticketmaster's own internal documents, and here is what those documents reveal. Ticketmaster has a tool called Pricemaster. It's their dynamic pricing engine software that watches demand in real time during a sale and raises prices automatically when interest spikes. This is the same engine that, during Bruce Springsteen's 2023 tour, surged seats to over $5,000 apiece, and during Taylor Swift's Eras Tour, helped push average resale prices into four-figure territory while the tour grossed more than $1 billion worldwide. By September of 2022, Pricemaster had been activated on 113 of Ticketmaster's top 200 tour. More than half of the biggest shows in America were having their prices algorithmically pushed upward in real time while you sat in the queue. Then there's Platinum. You've seen these. They're the seats that show up labeled Platinum or In Demand, price 2, 3, sometimes 7 times higher than the regular tickets next to them. Ticketmaster's official line is that Platinum tickets are not dynamic pricing. Their prices are, quote, set in advance based on anticipated demand. They aren't algorithmically surged in the moment. This is technically true. It is also functionally meaningless. Because the way Platinum works is this. When a sale opens, the cheaper tickets get released first. While you're in the queue, those cheaper seats sell out. By the time you reach the front of the line, what's left is mostly Platinum. You waited 2 hours. The price didn't technically change, but the tickets you can actually buy went from $65 to $342. To you, sitting at your laptop, that is indistinguishable from a price hike. This is exactly what happened to British fans during the 2024 Oasis reunion sale. Tickets advertised at £150 appeared at the front of the queue, priced at £350 or more. The UK competition watchdog had to step in and force Ticketmaster to change how it discloses pricing. And here's the part that should make you angry. According to that Senate report, Ticketmaster's internal documents show the company actively pushing artists and venues to allocate more inventory to Platinum. In one 2023 conversation cited in the report, Ticketmaster told an artist that putting 8 to 10% of the house into Platinum was standard. In a 2022 internal presentation, they looked at a tour where Platinum had been just 4% of capacity and labeled it an opportunity to increase Platinum allocations on upcoming tour. Across North America, the amount of inventory routed through VIP, Platinum, and Pricemaster adjusted channels jumped from 2.8 million tickets in 2019 to 22.8 million in 2022. Read that again. Premium-priced concert tickets multiplied by 8 in 3 years, not because audience demand multiplied by 8, because Ticketmaster pushed for it. And one more thing from those internal documents. In one cited communication, a Ticketmaster employee wrote that the goal was, quote, to ensure fans will not be aware any dynamic pricing of standard inventory is being done. That is not me characterizing what they did. That is them in their own words in writing, stating that the strategy was to keep you from finding out. So in 2024, the Department of Justice and 40 state attorneys general sued. They said Live Nation was an illegal monopoly. They wanted to break it up, split Ticketmaster off, force real competition into the market. The trial began in February 2026. After about a week of testimony on March 9, 2026, the DOJ settled. They did not break up Live Nation. They did not split off Ticketmaster. Instead, Live Nation agreed to pay $280 million into a settlement fund, divest 13 amphitheaters, and stop forcing venues to use Ticketmaster exclusively. That's it. That is the punishment for 30 years of dominance. 280 million sounds like a lot until you know that Live Nation's annual revenue is over $23 billion. The settlement is roughly 1% of 1 year's revenue. The 13 amphitheaters they have to sell are a fraction of the more than 70 that they own. The New York Attorney General publicly rejected the settlement on the day it was announced. California's Attorney General did the same. Both states say they're going to keep litigating in state court because the deal didn't actually fix anything. Within a month, 4 senior Department of Justice antitrust attorneys resigned over how the settlement was handled. Meanwhile, Ticketmaster is still Ticketmaster. The Pricemaster algorithm is still running. The Platinum allocations are still set wherever the artist agrees to set them. The fees still stack on top of the face value at checkout. And the next time you open the app to buy tickets, the system will work exactly the way it did before. The lawsuit was real. The trial was real. The settlement was real. The change, in any way that affects the price you actually pay, was not. Here is what you can actually do. First, buy at the box office when you can. Most arenas, theaters, and clubs have a physical ticket window. Service fees there are dramatically lower, and at many venues they're zero, because Ticketmaster's whole business model is built on charging you for the digital flow. Buying in person requires effort. It is also the single biggest discount available to a normal fan. Second, wait. Dynamic pricing cuts both ways. For tours that don't sell out fast, prices come down in the days and hours before the show. The cheap seats often appear on Ticketmaster, SeatGeek, and StubHub the morning of the event, sometimes below face value. If you can be patient, you can pay 40% less than the people who panic bought during the on-sale. Third, before you click through to checkout, screenshot the listed price. Then screenshot the final total. If the difference is more than 30%, you are paying exactly the kind of junk fees that the FTC's 2025 junk fees rule was designed to crack down on in the ticketing industry. File a complaint with the FTC at reportfraud.ftc.gov. They take ticket complaints seriously now. StubHub paid $10 million in April 2026 for exactly this kind of pricing deception. The more complaints regulators see, the more the next settlement will cost. Fourth, if you ever resell a ticket, never use Ticketmaster's own official resale marketplace as your default. When you list a ticket there, Ticketmaster collects a fee from the seller. When someone buys it, they collect another fee from the buyer. They take a cut on both ends of the same transaction, on a ticket they already sold once. The same applies in reverse when you're buying a resale ticket. Check the original venue's box office and other resale platforms first. The same seat is often cheaper somewhere that isn't double charging. The thing to understand is this: Ticketmaster is not a ticket company. It is a fee collection platform that happens to deliver a barcode. The ticket is the receipt. The fees are the product. If this changed how you think about Ticketmaster, hit that like button. It helps more people see this. And subscribe to Sysplain, because every week we pull back the curtain on another system that was designed to work against you. I'll see you in the next one.